Welcome back to From the Flightline. I'm Joel Gilley. We have a very special guest with us today. Go ahead and tell us what your name is.
How's everybody doing? My name's Staff Sergeant Matthew Boyles, 4th Logistics Readiness Squadron, Fuels Management Flight.
Awesome. Is it okay if I call you Matt?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool. Matt, how long have you been doing what you're doing? We're going to jump right in with that question.
I've been doing this a little over 7 years.
Oh, wow. So you've been here. Have you been at Seymour the whole time?
I have not.
Okay.
This is my third base.
Okay. Tell us about where you started and where you went, and then you ended up at Seymour.
Okay, so basic training, of course, Lackland in San Antonio, Texas. Went to Shepherd Air Force Base, 31 academic days. From there, I went to Altus Air Force Base, Southwest Oklahoma. 3 red lights, very, very small town. From there, I went to Incirlik Air Base in Adana, Turkey.
Wow.
From there, PCS here, and from here, I've been to Kuwait, I've been to Greece, I've been to England. It's been a ride.
You know, you have literally, we talked to so many people who got into the Air Force because they wanted to see the world, and I feel like you've done a good bit of that so far.
I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah.
I've seen people not be as successful, quote unquote, but I've been enjoying every minute of it.
What was your favorite at all those places?
My favorite, honestly, probably Turkey.
Really?
Probably Turkey. I called it the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Just because it was so busy. The workload, it made you, if you didn't know, you learned on the fly.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that the most.
That's really cool. And so you've been in 7 years now.
8.
Or 8. I'm sorry, 8.
Sorry.
And so when you joined, is fuel something that you came in wanting to do?
Actually, it was not.
I'm sorry, I called it fuel. It's logistics.
It's fuels. I'm a part of the logistics.
Okay, so it's cool to say fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually wanted to be a mechanic. I came in open mechanical. When I got the basic training, they said, all right, you're open mechanical. Here's the jobs. The guy, we met in basic training, of course. And he was like, hey, this is my job. It sounds cool. And I was like, I'll put it on my list. Why not?
Yeah.
Ended up getting a job, and I enjoy it.
That's awesome.
So I like it.
And talk about what your basic training was like. Or I guess your training for fuel. I mean, there's got to be a lot of regulations and safety as part of your training. And I imagine your recurrent training too, right?
So basically, you get there, not only do you learn how to drive the truck, and actually they're instilling something now to where when you graduate, you already have your Class B CDL with your hazmat endorsement. So let's say you were a 4-year enlistee and you decide to get out, you're leaving with at least that.
Yeah.
But you learn about fuel, how to be safe around it, how to drive the truck, how to issue to aircraft, different pieces of equipment, as well as learning to run a pump house, so where we store the fuel, whether it be transferring fuel, not leveling tanks, but as far as low leveling tanks, cleaning, stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, this is a lot of, we talk about a lot of, about the training you get in the Air Force and how it, works on the civilian side as well if you decide to get out. And I feel like this is all very important stuff. Like, fuel's not going anywhere, right? Like, people are going to always need it. I mean, I get it. There's a big push for green energy and all that, but airplanes are always going to need fuel, right?
Yeah, it's, we have a saying, pilots and pedestrians without POL. That's our acronym, our old name from way back. But payroll is the #1 line item for the DOD. Number 2 is fuel. So
I believe it.
We're very important. We spend a lot of money on getting jets to fly and cars to go.
Absolutely. So I do want to talk about that too. So you guys do fuel for all kinds of vehicles. It's not just jets, right? So talk a little bit about what all y'all service.
All right. So we have a base service station. It's almost like a credit card type transaction where you pull up and you can get diesel, E85, regular gasoline for the base vehicles. As well as for the generators, we have dedicated diesel vehicles that go out to generators and certain older vehicles, even some new vehicles that can only take diesel. They can't take biodiesel. So we do that. It's always busy.
Plus all the jets.
On top of the jets.
You don't think about all the vehicles that are on the base. I mean, yeah, you've got a lot of jets, but you've also got a lot of regular vehicles too that you guys have to take care of. And so how does that work? You get your fuel. It comes to you guys. Is that through a pipeline, or how does that?
So we don't have a pipeline set up here. Some installations do. It just all depends on DLA, Defense Logistics Agency, how they have their contract set up and who's actually in charge of that pipeline. We get fuel here by truck and by rail.
Okay. So it all comes in, you guys load it into tanks, and then kind of what's a day in the life for you? It's loading up trucks and carrying it where the fuel needs to go?
Yes, sir. So usually we have a few sections. So I guess we'll go full circle. Our preventative maintenance, or fuels maintenance as they're now called, they check out the trucks, over 100-something checks
Wow.
on this line item. They check the trucks out, make sure they're good to go for the day. We never leave trucks empty. Trucks always have fuel in them.
Okay.
You know, that's a time killer.
Yeah.
We have the control center. They're like the brains. They get the phone calls to dispatch fuel wherever they need it, and other items and of such. And then they'll call. They say we need an operator. Operator comes to the window and go to said location, said aircraft, said vehicle, wherever it's at, and issue fuel to it.
You know, that's something I never thought about either, is you got all the dispatch that has to happen as well. I mean, there's all this stuff behind the scenes that jets don't just take off and fly.
Yeah.
Like they've got to get fuel dispatched and all that. That's wild.
Yep.
And so are you guys taking care of the refuelers, or is that a separate, that's under the 916?
Oh, we still do the same thing.
Okay.
They call us and we show up.
So they call you and you're like, crap, we got to have a couple trucks to fill up one of those things.
It depends. We have a hydrant system on base.
Okay.
So it works like a fire hydrant. Airlines, fuel lines.
Yeah.
You hook up, and then there's a pit. You hook the truck up to it. Now it's a different style of truck.
Yeah.
And you just issue the fuel. That truck's more convenient because you don't have to fill it. You show up, fuel comes from under the ground.
You know, this makes a lot of sense, because you think about that. When you're flying on a commercial jet, you never see big tankers driving around. So it's all underground, and they just hook up and fuel it up that way. Okay.
It's very convenient. Very
Yeah,
convenient.
that's interesting. And so basically the truck that you're driving is just a pump, essentially.
Yep. That's one truck's a pump. One truck has a 6,000-gallon tank, and then the smaller trucks have a 1,200-gallon tank.
Wow, that's
But
a lot.
The small tanks just for ground fuel, so diesel and regular gasoline.
I got you. Cool. Where are you from originally?
Columbia, South Carolina,
Okay, so you're not too far from
right
home.
up the road.
Yeah, so do you like being closer to home?
I do. I enjoy it.
You make it home pretty often?
I do.
Okay, good deal. And we always like to ask people what made them join the Air Force. So if you were, did you join, was it right out of high school?
No, sir. I went to school for a
Okay.
year, did not finish. I kind of worked a couple jobs in town, and I wanted to do something positive. My dad, he said, hey, man, you think about joining the service? And I was like, I don't know. And then I said, I'll try it. Went to the recruiter and signed some papers, and then a couple months later,
The rest is history.
started rolling. So
Yeah, good deal. So did you have any family members that were armed services?
my dad served. My aunt, she served as well. So they kind of gave me a little rundown.
Yeah.
But I've been enjoying it.
Were they Air Force?
Army.
Ooh, so is that like a little bit of, at the family reunion, a little bit of contention there?
Some people give me a hard time about it, but
It's funny,
okay.
we've had people that have come in and they've had a long line of family members that have been all different branches, and they like to rib each other, I think, a little bit about that.
Yeah,
so.
my brother's in the Army, so I
Oh,
give,
okay.
Yeah,
So you got that sibling rivalry as well there.
I give him a hard time every chance I get.
So you've been in 8 years now. What's your plan for the future? You doing the full length?
Yes, sir. I'm under the old retirement system. I enjoy it. I'm doing something positive. I've seen so much in my 8 years. There's more to come. It can only get better.
Absolutely. I like your positivity. If you were sitting there talking to somebody who's in high school or maybe just gotten out and they don't know what they want to do, what is, I call it the Spark Notes version. What would you tell that person that has been the most positive part about joining the Air Force?
Not only meeting people, learning, just the education and the benefits coming from it. And when I say education, not just, going to college and, GI Bill, all that. Like just learning how other people live, their upbringing, and what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
If you come from a small community, your small community. You come out of that community and you get to see a whole new different realm of things.
Yeah.
And we can always learn something. You should always learn something every day.
I love that. I tell people that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you said that. And I think you're right. It's a melting pot in the Air Force, and you have to get outside your comfort zone, I would imagine, a lot, and you've got to get along with other people. And so I think that's probably a pretty positive part of it, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you like doing in your spare time?
In my spare time, actually, I do detailing in my spare time.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm getting started up, so I enjoy that. That's really about it. Ride my motorcycle.
Yeah. What kind of motorcycle?
I have a GSXR 750.
Okay.
And then a Harley Davidson V-Rod.
You got two of them.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I like it. Favorite place to eat in Goldsboro?
Brewmasters.
Solid choice.
I love Brewmasters. Great staff, great selection of beverages.
You go there for the pizza day?
I do pints and pizza.
Tuesday?
Thursdays.
Thursday. I
Every
knew it was one of the
Thursdays.
T's.
They have bottomless mimosas on Sundays.
I did not know that. That's good to know.
Please be responsible.
Yeah,
Everyone.
absolutely.
But I enjoy Brewmasters. I like the environment.
Yeah, good deal. Well, is there anything that we left out about fuel you'd like to talk about?
We also do the quality control on it. So we test it as well. I forgot about that. I'm so
No,
sorry.
that's good. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, so we do the quality control. It's a special course.
You don't think about this. I just go to the gas station and put it in my truck and cry a little bit because it's so expensive.
Yeah, it's hurting me, and I have to deal with it every day.
Yeah. So what does quality control have to do?
So they sample the fuel because there's certain additives in fuel. Make sure there's no water in it, and then the additives in it that kind of keep the water out and keep it from freezing.
Yeah.
Make sure that's up to spec, as well as the liquid oxygen on base. So some aircraft produce their own liquid oxygen, some don't. So we have to have liquid oxygen
What is the liquid oxygen for?
so pilots can breathe.
Oh, that
Yep.
makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
cool. So y'all do that too?
Yep.
So it's not just fuel. It's fuel/liquid oxygen. So how do y'all get the liquid oxygen in and then you
Yeah,
just put
from
it on the jet basically?
Pretty much, we get it from a off-base vendor. They bring it, we store it. We have certain carts to issue to it. It wouldn't be in a truck because
Yeah.
of the amount, but we issue it through carts, and then that's it.
That's really cool. I heard you had a fun statistic too for us. What was your fun statistic?
Fuel is the number 2 line item.
Oh, that was
Yep,
the
yep,
fun statistic.
yep,
That
yep.
is crazy.
Yeah.
How much do y'all spend on fuel? Do you know that?
I do not have the answer.
Throwing you a curveball on
at
that
this time. But I will say it changes. It changes.
Well, yeah.
Fiscal year, demand, supply. So
I can't imagine having to budget for that either because, us at the county too, we're looking at our next year's budget and what are fuel prices going to be for all of our sheriff's vehicles and our ambulances and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And, you sit there and you budget a target, what you think it's going to be, and then, we've already hit that target, I think, this year. And so it's wild. It's crazy with fuel right now, but that's a really cool job. And, I think that's one thing that's fun about this program is we learn about so many different people, and you don't think about how the jets get fueled up. You think that it just happens, but there's a whole team of people. I mean,
Yeah.
how big is your shop?
we have roughly 60 members.
I mean, that's crazy. It's 60 people that are fueling jets all the time and dispatching and all that stuff. And
Yeah, there's a lot that goes. There's a lot, whether it be dispatching, distribution, storage. It keeps you busy.
yeah, absolutely. What is your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part, as far as section or just
Just in general.
I like distribution the best.
Yeah.
You
Do
get-
y'all rotate? Is that?
We do.
Okay.
We do. We rotate. I enjoy the lab, but I like distribution better because you get to get out of the building
Yeah.
and you get to see everything in motion. If you're working in storage, you see numbers, you see fuel.
Yeah.
But distribution, you actually get to see it. You pull up to that jet, you see your meter. Hey, I'm calling in this amount of gallons.
Yeah.
And then you're going to fill and you're going to another one. You're seeing it in motion.
Exactly. Now, is that something when you show up to work, all the stuff you're going to have to fuel for that day, or is it coming kind of on the fly?
It depends. They send out a rough schedule,
Okay.
but things change.
Yeah. Missions change.
Yeah,
I mean,
missions
you don't
change,
know. So that's got to be an interesting part about it is that you don't know what your next day is going to hold.
Yep.
You're always on your toes.
Yep. You're always, when you walk in, if you hear engines running at 7 in the morning,
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna be busy today, regardless of what the guesstimate or estimate
Yeah.
may say. But you never know what you're gonna get into.
And that's another question. Are you guys, is fuel, I assume it's 7 days a week?
Yeah, we're 24/7,
Really?
just like the fire department.
Really? Goodness. So how does that work? Are you on a set shift or does your shift change?
Everyone rotates shifts.
Okay.
So we'll have a weekend crew, and then we'll have a normal, days,
through Fri-
mids,
yeah.
nights, Monday through Friday.
That's crazy. I never thought about that either. It's 24/7 operation. So, wow. Well, is there anything else that we left out you'd like to talk about today?
I don't think so. I think that's it. It's rewarding. I say that's
Yeah.
rewarding.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your service. Thank you for coming in
Yes, sir.
and telling us all a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis. And hopefully we'll see you again sometime soon, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much.
All right,
This
thank
is
you.
another episode of From the Flightline. We'll see you again next time.